Greetings, comrades. Welcome to All Power to the People podcast on Grown Folks Talking, Express Yourself Internet Radio via the Huddle Team app. We meet every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We discuss local, national, and global events that impact the material conditions of the people and provide viable solutions. We are here to find those tired of the way their lives are socially constructed. As Panthers, we use dialectic materialism. As Dr. Huey P. Newton stated, power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. From combating the housing crisis to police patrols, we are the vanguard in place to serve our communities. The purpose of this program is to highlight contradictions in the electoral process, which Western culture calls politics. Politics is the struggle for resources. Participating in America's electoral process has only taken resources from the people and handed it to the oligarchs and the professional managerial class that serve them by maintaining the status quo through coercion. We know that power lies with the people, and it is our duty to organize and educate the community so that they can fight for their own liberation. So please, join us every Sunday at 12 p.m. You can join by downloading the Huddle Team app, join online, or call in. The app and joining online is free, but if you call in, standard messaging rates may apply. Links to the show will be provided in the caption. This is General Secretary Patience. All power to the people.
If you're just coming in, you can hear it before we go into what we're talking about. But this is recap from last week.
Etching of the Earth by Franz Fanon. Concerning Violence, Part 4 Recap. Fanon argues that the colonial oppression does not only control the native through physical force, it also affects the native psychologically. The anger and aggression produced by colonialism have to be contained, and the natives may channel that frustration into myths, superstitions, and religious beliefs. These beliefs create a set of prohibitions and fears that can become more frightening than the actual colonial world. In this way, the natives' attention can become focused on imagined or symbolic enemies rather than on the colonial system that is actually oppressing them. These shared beliefs also strengthen the individual's connection to the group. Myths, rituals, and taboos become markers of identity and provide a way for people to express emotions that cannot be openly directed toward the colonizer. The problem, however, is that this can create a kind of psychological displacement. Instead of confronting colonialism, people may become consumed by fears of breaking a taboo, encountering a supernatural force, or violating a cultural prohibition. The natives can become trapped in a maze of false enemies, while the real enemy, the colonial system, remains untouched. Eventually, however, the psychological tension begins to transform itself. The natives' minds start searching for ways to release the aggression created by colonial oppression. Fanon describes music, dancing, religious ceremonies, bodily movement, and other sacred practices as outlets through which this repressed energy can be expressed. Rituals, meetings, dances, and spiritual practices allow people to release emotions and desires that have been suppressed under colonial rule. Fanon connects these practices to the expression of the libido, or the instinctual energy and desires that have been repressed. As the native begins to recognize the reality of colonial oppression, this energy can move toward political action. The native begins asking practical questions. What should the liberation movement do? How should it be organized? What risks will it have to take? At this point, the people may turn toward educated political leaders for direction. Fanon is critical of the educated native intellectuals and politicians because they often advocate reform rather than genuine liberation. They may seek better wages, greater political rights, or closer access to the privileges enjoyed by the settler. In other words, they may want to improve the natives' position within the colonial system rather than completely dismantle that system. The intellectual's aggression can therefore become directed toward gaining his own status and privileges rather than toward revolutionary transformation. Fanon contrasts this with the peasantry, whom he considers the most genuinely revolutionary class. The peasant has little to lose because colonialism has already deprived them of land, wealth, political power, and security. They have experienced the violence of colonialism directly and understand the suffering required to defeat it. Because of this experience, the peasantry is less likely to believe that reform or compromise with the colonizer will bring genuine freedom. For Fanon, nonviolence can ultimately preserve the colonial status quo when it prevents the oppressed from confronting the structures that maintain their oppression. The peasant, having experienced colonial violence firsthand, understands that liberation may require a direct and violent confrontation with the colonial system. Overall, Fanon is describing a transformation. The psychological violence created by colonialism first appears through fear, myths, rituals, and displaced aggression, but that suppressed energy can eventually become political consciousness and revolutionary action. He sees the peasantry as particularly capable of making that transformation because they have experienced colonial oppression most directly and have the least interest in preserving the existing system. All power to the people. Greetings, comrades.
Yo, all power to the people. Yo, that's deep. All power to the people. That's real deep. Now, no, because people see the basketball, the things that we do in the community, they think we just doing the basketball. Like everybody, y'all, most of the parents call me coach. They don't understand that I'm the chairman of the Black Panther Party, and these programs, these different things that we have, is what we offer to the community. Like they don't fully grasp that. So most of them, when they call me, when they text me, they call me coach. It's okay. It's a part of who I am, whatever. I do coach. But the purpose for that is to try to channel that energy. I'm going too far. Yo, just now when we was listening to the recap, you heard Fanon use the phrase libido. What you see, when you read books, you have to go back and see what they're talking about, like why they use certain phrases and stuff. Like when we talk about libido, and I say libido, most people just think about like sex, like I mean things like that. What he was referring to was like a study done by Freud, where Freud said the libido is basically where our motivation comes from. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. A nice way to package it. Our motivation comes from the libido, from like boys when they're born at an early age, before they without even being conscious of it, they're attracted to their mothers. That's what he said, because of like that closeness that they have with them, that bond that they have with them. That's the first person that they see, whatever, that they're close to, and they have issues with the father because the father is the one that's in the way. This is what Freud said. This is the theory that Freud, whatever, he was a psychologist, Sigmund Freud. I think this is in 1905, whatever, when he came up with when he did the study, whatever. I think he studied like one boy. He had one boy that he studied. But anyway, be that as it may, like when that's why till today, when somebody brings up libido and you put that with what we're talking about, you thinking sex, and Du Bois is saying who we are, like our purpose doesn't come from genetics or sexual or whatever. When the libido, he's saying it comes from the social reality around us, the social constructs around us, and how we deal with those structures. I mean, defines. I mean, that energy that we put to it is what he's talking about. That energy, and he's saying it doesn't come from anything sexual. I mean, it comes from that. It's come from the social forces around us. I hope I explained the way you understand, because I'm not a psychologist. But what is a psychologist? Like psychoanalyst, whatever he was. but be that as it may, I believe that's what he was saying. That's where Freud was getting to. Because when if you as you when I play the next video, the next section 5, you're going to hear him tell you what's motivating these people to do what they're doing. What's motivating the bourgeois class, the black intellectuals, the native intellectuals, what's motivating them to do what they're doing, even from when they're little. I mean, how they're learning how to be who they are. How everybody else in that space, in that system, is motivated. What motivates people? Like, what motivates people today? What motivates you? What motivates people to get up tomorrow? What motivates them to do what they want to do? I remember a long time ago, I asked this this girl I was talking to. I asked her, like, what motivates you? She said money. Like, when she said that, this is like in the late 90s, early 2000s. When she said that, like I remember it now. I go back now and I still remember. But when she said that, I'm like, money. Like, I'm just looking at her like she's crazy. But as time has gone by, I see it. Money is what motivate almost everybody. Motivate people to do almost anything. People do a podcast because they want to make money. People become cops because they want to make money. People go to the military because they want to make money. People choose their mates, their relationship based on money. It is surrounding around you because life costs. So all the decisions that people are making, all the motivation that they have is based on money. Just think about that for a minute. I mean, and that's what Du Bois is explaining here. There's no need to go talk to those people to try to, like, get them to change their mind, change how they are, change who they are. That's why he said this has to be started from birth. That's why we do the basketball stuff. That's why we have the kids out there. We can't give birth to all the children in the community, all those children that come out. We can't give birth to them. And we don't have enough capital to build institutions that we could filter them through. Because every single one of us, you sitting there, me sitting here, we were filtered through these institutions that they control. That sets us in motions and what motivates us. What our motivation is to do whatever we're doing. My motivation, our motivation, because this is just not me, because most of the time I'm the one on the video. I want the General Secretary to be doing these videos. I want Captain Patience to be doing these videos. I want Rodrigo to be doing these videos. I want the Rodwell brothers to be doing these videos. I want Love to be. I'm naming all people that are part of our organization. That is not just me. People in the background that contribute when we say we're going to do stuff. Like people that are not even Panthers, like Jeremy. Jeremy's here. I mean, Jeremy's here. Like all the work that he's doing, the contribution that he's doing, they get us to go out to take the kids out to the water park. I mean, so like, I didn't even say what the show is. I'm just going on talking right now. I mean, like, cause don't nobody rule us. We could do what we want to do. We having a conversation. I mean, but Jeremy comes they're gonna pay for 15 of the children to go to the water park on the 19th, I believe, and we're gonna take the children out there. The park is gonna pay for it because Jeremy put it out there, and they saw what he was doing, and they told him they're gonna pay for it. So we're gonna take all the children here that have been coming to the camp. We're gonna take them out there. We were trying to raise funds for it. We're gonna take them out there to the water park. We're going to be taking the kids to go out camping. We're doing all of that to do the work that Franz Fanon is talking about. Because we don't have money to build big institutions with our name on them. I mean, the state will never sponsor what we're doing because we're teaching the people to be their own state, their own government. We're teaching the children from young. We're teaching them that the state, the people that Fanon is talking about, the enemies that Fanon is talking about, that is what we're teaching them. I read somewhere one time somebody said, I wonder if people could really put this Marxism to in reality right now. Like if people could really do it. That is our life. That is why we are here, to speak to you, to reach out to you, to get you to understand we can do this as people. That's the only path. Everything else is jerk and wreck. And Fanon is about to tell you that. He's about to tell you everything you've seen with your eyes. All the politicians. Yeah, I was talking on Ray Schwabi. Yo, let me give a shout out to Ray Schwabi. Hey, Ray, if you could come on, man, plug in your show, man, so people could come watch the show, man. Plug the show in. Because, like, that, we got to find spaces. Let me know when you tuned in, man. Your mic on?
Yeah, it's on, man.
Yeah.
We need people to tune into the Random Shuffle, man. I have Chairman Afrika and Jeremy come on and, like, they preach the knowledge. They're community heroes, and the goal is to keep having it on the show, man. So we want everybody to tune in, bro.
All power to the people. Hey, yo, next time when you could put your camera on and shoot a promo. Every week when you show up, I want you to go out there and say that, because we need these spaces. We need our own spaces that's not controlled by corporations, that's not controlled telling us what to say. Yo, anytime I can point somebody, like celebrate or point people to where they should go, yo, I'm going to. Like, I'm telling you, you tune into the Brothers Network, because he's not just talking about black liberation. They talk about hip-hop, they talk about art, sports, different kind of things. That's what people are talking about. You got to deal with what people are talking about. But they're also having these conversations. Because we are all this. Like, yo, I'm going to do fantasy football. I'm like in 8, 9 leagues. I'll be scraping people. I'll be winning like 6 leagues every year. I'll be scraping them playing this fantasy football, man. I'm going to keep getting that little dough, because we all on the plantation. Keeping it a buck. I mean, so yeah, tune into his show, man. But we're here to find those people, the people that are interested in doing this work. Because according to Fanon, according to our revolutionaries, this is what you must do if you want to transform the society. And there's nothing bigger to give your life to than that. I don't see anything else bigger to give your life to than the people. I mean, but let me play this. But anyway, welcome to All Power to the People podcast on Grown Folk Talk and Express Yourself, the only space that I know right now where you can come and you get this every single week. You're going to get this food right here. Get you ready for next week. Like, get your mind ready. Get your purpose ready for while you're waking up. I mean, while you're getting up tomorrow. Yo, it's like, yo, you could just look at it like it's Monday. But you can understand it's Monday. I mean, real talk. Like, it's a whole different way of looking at reality. But I'm about to jump into it right now. This is part 5.
The Wretched of the Earth by Franz Fanon. Concerning Violence, part 5. This idea of compromise is very important in the phenomenon of decolonization, for it is very far from being a simple one. Compromise involves the colonial system and the young nationalist bourgeoisie at one and the same time. The partisans of the colonial system discover that the masses may destroy everything: blown up bridges, ravaged farms, repression, and fighting harshly disrupt the economy. Compromise is equally attractive to the nationalist bourgeoisie, who says they are not clearly aware of the possible consequences of the rising storm, are generally afraid of being swept away by these huge hurricanes, and never stop saying to the settlers, "We are still capable of stopping the slaughter. The masses still have confidence in us. Act quickly if you do not want to put everything in jeopardy." One step more, and the leader of the Nationalist Party keeps his distance with regard to that violence. He loudly proclaims that he has nothing to do with these Mau, these terrorists, these throat splitters. At best, he shuts himself off in a no-man's land between the terrorists and the settlers, and willingly offers his services as go-between. That is to say, that as the settlers cannot discuss terms with these Mau, he himself will be quite willing to begin negotiations. Thus, it is that the rear guard of the national struggle, that very party of people who have never ceased to be on the other side in the fight, find themselves somersaulted into the van of negotiations and compromise, precisely because that party has taken very good care never to break contact with colonialism.
Well, I want you to understand who he's talking about. He's talking about the politicians. I was on Ray's show, and we was talking, and I said something like, there was a question about something about a politician that I trust or something, or what do I think about Mandani? And I said, what is he? And everybody said a politician. And then it is what it is. Like, you cannot trust any politician. It is not me being consistent. Like, if I go to the fire right now and I turn the fire on and I put my hand in it and I get burnt, I mean, it's not me being consistent. Like, the fire is the fire. I mean, a politician is a politician. Their duty is here to serve whoever their bosses are. Their bosses are not us. So it doesn't matter from New Jersey to California to Florida, wherever you want to go. I don't from America. You want to go to Africa, from North New Jersey to let's say Lagos in Nigeria. The politicians serve the ruling class, serve the people in power. They're not here to serve the people. None of them. And that's what we got. That's what he's telling you right here. That's what Fanon is explaining. Their motive is different from yours. Their motive is totally, they want to be part of the system. They're aiming to reform and maintain the system that's oppressing you. And I'm trying to say it slow so people can understand, because I need you to understand. So it is not like you're going to find a good politician, or like you say all politicians are not bad because like everybody's different. But to be able to get that job, to be able to be a politician, you have to fit the criteria and do what the people that own that space, control that space, want you to do. Because if you don't, they will deal with you. I mean, but that's what he's explaining. He's talking about the politician. That's what he's talking about. So whatever politician you know, your council people, your mayor, all of them, your delegate, whether they know it or not, they they call them delegates or whatever they call them. These are the people he's talking to. Let's be crystal clear. I mean, like I should have said that before he started talking.
Before negotiations have been set afoot, the majority of nationalist parties confine themselves, for the most part, to explaining and excusing this savagery. They do not assert that the people have to use physical force, and it sometimes even happens that they go so far as to condemn in private the spectacular deeds which are declared to be hateful by the press and public opinion in the mother country. The legitimate excuse for this ultra-conservative policy is the desire to see things in an objective light. But is the desire to see things in an objective light.
We had two. That's 2:24 or 2:30. Let's say 2:30. I'm gonna go play it now. No, I was gonna wait here. This is like what he's saying right there. What Fanon is saying. What Fanon is saying right there about the politicians. They're quick to explain away the violence. They're quick to pick sides. They're there as a buffer between those in power, those with the money, the corporation, the corp, and us. Every single politician. Not one politician is always going to say, the people should arm themselves against the police. We can watch them kill people all across the country. Not one single politician will come out and say that people should arm themselves. If the people are being attacked, you can ask the politician, should the people pick up guns and start to shoot back? Not one single politician will say that, because they all belong to the people doing the shooting. They will give you offer cameras that don't work, cameras that fall to the floor. Let me play, listen to Keisha Lansbaum, what he just said. What Fanon just said. Listen to Keisha Bottoms. This was doing riots over that thing in Atlanta, or wherever she's from.
And the civil rights movement, you're not protesting anything running out with brown liquor in your hands, breaking windows in this city. T.I. and Killer Mike own half the west side. So when you burn down this city, you're burning down our community. If you want change in America, go and register to vote. Show up at the polls on June 9th. Do it in November. That is the change we need in this country. You are disgracing our city. You are disgracing the life of George Floyd and every other person who has been killed in this country. We are better than this.
And that's what he's explaining. And I'm listening to him, and I can remember this because we was all here. We were here for this moment. I watched Killer Mike. I watched all of them come up there talking about, Killer Mike had on a T-shirt. I think the T-shirt said, "Kill the slave master," while he was up there telling people to go home, not to rise up against the slave master. Like this, I was watching it. I couldn't believe, my mind was blown because I already know what Fanon said. So I'm watching these people in real time. I'm watching her. Fanon is describing her. I'm about to go back. You're about to hear them eviscerate these people. This is the Bible for revolutionaries. But if you go around and you listen to the so-called activists, these are the people they promote. Wherever city you're in, wherever town you're in, go listen to the activists that are getting this nonprofit money. These activists that have offices, that got buildings, that got thousands of dollars coming in for them to go in the community and do stupid stuff like gun buybacks and paint the street. These are their heroes. These are the people that give them money. Listen to her. Listen to her.
Better than this as a city. We are better than this as a country.
Look at her. Look at her. Like she really believed that. You're going to hear from now, so there's no need in talking to these people. This is what he's talking about. Look at her. Look, I doubt she's ever fought for the people the way she's out there fighting. And you're going to hear why. Listen to her.
Go home. Go home. In the same way I didn't protect my son on yesterday, I cannot protect you out in those streets. You're throwing knives at our police officers. You are burning cars. You have defaced the CNN building.
Yo, she had to pause. She almost caught a heart attack. You have defaced the CNN building. You have defaced. Yo, listen to what she said about this.
Ted Turner started CNN in Atlanta 40 years ago because he believed in who we are as a city. There was a black reporter who was arrested on camera this morning who works for CNN. They are telling our stories, and you are disgracing their building.
Yo, hold on, wait. So the police arresting the CNN person that's telling your story, you're not dealing with that the police, but it's like you're mad at the people that's out there doing whatever they're doing, rioting, whatever they're doing out there, rebelling. You're mad at those people, and you blaming them because that's why the police arrested the camera person. These people are crazy. They're certifiably nuts. You're out here. Look at you as a black person. Look at her face. Look how angry she is about people out there rebelling. I don't know which black person was killed. It had to be another black person that they murdered out there, that they shot in cold blood. And the people are tired. The people are tired. They're coming out saying enough is enough. Something must be done. And look how upset she is at the people, not upset at the system. These are the politicians. Every single politician. This is who they are. And you need to accept that. Because, like, I know sometimes, like, this is going to be, like, something that you go through. It's a process that you got to go through it. Because if you haven't seen it before, like me, I remember when I first started, they used to tell me about all these politicians and stuff in the city. Like, I didn't listen. I mean, because I hadn't seen it for myself. I mean, I wasn't institutionalized. I wasn't brought up as a kid to notice that nobody had camps like we doing. Nobody took us away doing anything we doing to try to teach me who these people were. So, like, when I see them, sooner or later, I get to find out for myself. I got to find out for myself so much, I left the whole political system in the city alone. I walked away. Yo, they think they isolate me. Like, the political system, the mayors, the council people, the judges, everybody think like they're isolating me. I don't want to be a part of nothing they're doing. My life goal is to start my own, to build my own spaces. It's like with the kids and all of that. That's my life. I don't know. Yo, General Secretary, is the video, the picture with me right here with the children outside in the at the court? Can everybody else see that?
I can see it. I mean, if they want, they can zoom in and look.
Oh, because I don't want to keep pointing to it. Can nobody else see the picture but me? Nah, but that's what we do. That's my purpose. That's the space I want to create. I don't want to be at their arm stuff. So when people's asking me to attend this stuff that the city's, I'm not going. I mean, like, I'm going to tell you, like, yeah, I might pull up. Let me see. But I'm not going. I'm not going to no city function. Because me being there is like support for this stuff. The only reason I be there is like we protesting if I'm telling them they're all scums and criminals. But for me to be there, to be in association with them, it diminishes who I am. I'm too good for them. These people are sociopaths and idiots, sellouts. And I'm not saying it. Fanon is saying it. I'm about to go back to Fanon. Listen to him say it. He's telling you about the politician. I'm about to play him. He's telling you this. That's what he's talking about right here. He's talking about the politician.
The majority of nationalist parties confine themselves, for the most part, to explaining and excusing this savagery. They do not assert that the people have to use physical force, and it sometimes even happens that they go so far as to condemn in private the spectacular deeds which are declared to be hateful by the press and public opinion in the mother country. The legitimate excuse for this ultra-conservative policy is the desire to see things in an objective light. But this traditional attitude of the native intellectual and of the leaders of the nationalist parties is not, in reality, in the least objective. For in fact, they are not at all convinced that this impatient violence of the masses is the most efficient means of defending their own interests. Moreover, there are some individuals who are convinced of the ineffectiveness of violent methods. For them, there is no doubt about it. Every attempt to break colonial oppression by force is a hopeless effort, an attempt at suicide, because in the innermost recesses of their brains, the settlers' tanks and airplanes occupy a huge place. When they are told action must be taken, they see bombs raining down on them, armored cars coming at them on every path, machine gunning and police action, and they sit quiet. They are beaten from the start. There is no need to demonstrate their incapacity to triumph by violent methods. They take it for granted in their everyday life and in their political maneuvers. They have remained in the same childish position as Engels took up in his famous polemic with that monument of puerility, Monsieur de Ring. In the same way that Robinson Crusoe was able to obtain a sword, we can just as well suppose that Man Friday might appear one fine morning with a loaded revolver in his hand, and from then on the whole relationship of violence is reversed.
Oh, let me pause right there. Where we at right here? We're at the 4-minute mark. Yo, it's only 14 minutes of this. It's not that long. We're at the 4:15 mark. Yo, listen, like when he referred to Crusoe right there, right now he's talking about what's going on with what we're dealing with, and when people come to the point where they have to start questioning what's going on. I mean, like, and then he referred to Crusoe, and if you don't know what Crusoe is, Crusoe is a story. It's a story about somebody that was stranded. They were stranded on the island, and for them to survive, they had to start making swords and stuff like that, like things for them to be able to survive. I mean, so by them doing that, they showed their humanity, that they didn't have to, that they were not helpless, that they could handle themselves. I need you to think about that. Think about what I just said about Crusoe, and think about what Fanon is saying. Fanon is saying, like, that's what you have to go through. That is the process that you have to go through. You have to be like Crusoe and be able to pick up the sword. I mean, to start to see things as they are, and then start to ask yourself, how do you strategize to defeat what the situation that you're in? What I say we was at? Where we at? 4. Where we at? 4 what? 4:15. 4:15. I want you to listen to something. Listen to something real quick. I want you to listen to this.
That's why I love what Mike started with the boycott Black Murder movement, man. Break that down for us.
Well, it's pretty much just an extension of what AT does, right? Is that
there's a section in Wretched of the Earth that we're going to listen to where he talks about boycotting, the people that come up with ideas like boycott. I want you to listen to what he says.
Me having an influence in the hip-hop culture and also in the streets, and also being on the front line of this movement, and just understanding that violence is so many different directions it comes from. We boycott against police violence, we boycott against community violence. It's so many different ways. And it all boils down to black violence, because blacks are the leading people who are dying from gun violence every day in this community. So We have to have the same energy for both, right? The same.
Yo, so like, what is the solution? Because he's supposed to be an activist. He's a leader. He's telling you about the murder that's going on, that's impacting us at the highest rate. He's talking about it. But what is the solution that he's given to deal with those issues? Listen, please, like, listen, because that's what Fanon is talking about. These people have no solutions. Listen.
We're going out there marching and we saying we need to have accountability. We need to have accountability in our own communities. So what I wanted to do was utilize, because there's so many different leaders across this nation, AT and like he said, Keisha Yuri and
so everything that's going on with us, we need to have accountability within our community. And you remember you just said Keisha Yuri. Keisha Yuri works in Newark, New Jersey. She's paid by the mayor. She's paid by the government. I mean, to work with the police, to work with all these people that act like they're doing nonviolent stuff in the community when they're really a front. That's what Fanon is talking about. These are the people that Fanon is talking about. And he's a rapper that's saying he's an activist now. He's fighting for the people. And what is he saying? What is his solution? That he's saying, look at his T-shirt, Stop Black Murder. Because like everybody talk about, where's the next Malcolm X? Where's the this? Who are the black men standing up in our community? Yo, it's impossible to come through for what we're doing in the community, to shine through when you have all these offensive linemen for white supremacy in the way. These people are complete frauds and hustlers, poverty pimps that have no solution. You're about to listen to his plan on how to solve black murders. And we're listening to Fanon. And Fanon is telling you these people will offer nothing.
And also, there are brothers out of Vegas as we're working with right now. So we want to connect with all of the like minds. You know, Pastor McBride,
yes.
Chico,
yes.
All of these brothers, there are brothers who have, a lot of them are formerly incarcerated, some aren't, who understand what it is needed in this time, right? And I want us to come together and create this whole initiative and go to communities and empower the people in those.
Create this initiative, nonprofit money. Get all the organizations around the country, all the fake activist group around this country for them to come together. You see, they say we're not organized, but these bourgeois Uncle Toms, sellouts, they're organized. Like, you listen to them. This is what they're working on. They're going city to city. They're using government money to go and try to get all the organizations in the city, in the state. They're going to give them bribery money. If you have a little following, if you have people that follow you, if you know a lot of people, you've been on the streets, they're going to give you money, get you to create an organization where people filter through to do the work of the same oppressors that's throwing us out of our apartments, kicking us out of our homes, shooting us in the streets, making life almost impossible. These are the people that they work for. But they're going, so far, he's going to get all the pastors, all these people in the streets, they're going to come together to hold us accountable. And that's how you change the black murders. Let's keep going. Go ahead, Mike.
Communities who have the voices, who have the ears of the community, and say, okay, what do you need in these communities, right? And then we do what we can to bring those resources to make sure that the murders and the violence is stopped. Because
see, there we go. You see the misdirect right there. Fanon said it's not what we need from them. When we listen to Wretched of the Earth, Fanon said it's not the resources that we need from them. We need them to go away. We don't need them here. We don't want their schools. We don't want nothing. Did you just hear him? So he can bring the resources here. Okay, for my son, I don't want to pay $2,500 for rent. That's too expensive. We shouldn't be paying $2,500 for rent. What resources are you going to bring that's going to make sure we don't pay $2,500 for rent? You're going to come with a rent freeze? What are you going to come with? You're going to tell the landlords, food too expensive, gas too high. What you going to do for now? You see, I don't want you to come bring no jump rope contest. I don't want you to bring no hip-hop thing. Yo, I don't want you to bring a basketball tournament. Like, that's not what I'm here to do. I'm telling you what's really, like, yo, rent, food. Every time you open your door, go outside. Like, money coming out your pocket. Yo, that's what's stressing me out, bruh. I don't want you to bring no resources. So how is my son going to help anybody in the community? He's going to bring book bags in like a week to give to our children to go to white supremacy schools. That is what he does. That's what these people, all these NGO, fake activist groups, that is what they do. Every single one of them. Any organization, any nonprofit organization that's not fighting for the liberation of the people, that's not telling the people the corporations got to go. Like, we have to take power. You're a fraud. You're maintaining the status quo. And that's not what I'm saying. That's what Fanon telling you, baby. And this is the Bible. This is the revolutionary Bible. You ain't arguing with me. You're arguing with science.
We understand that poverty is violence. You know, it's not, violence does not happen where well-to-do people are. It doesn't happen.
And you don't even give me as much.
See, you understand poverty is violence. But why are you not going to the people that's causing that poverty? Why are you not going to the people that's controlling those schools? You work with them. The people that's throwing people out into the street, the mayor, you on his team. You working with the mayor. You working with the council people. You're not going to tackle the people that's producing violence. Your drug dealers do not produce violence. Car thieves do not produce violence. Chain snatchers, robbers, murderers do not produce violence. The state produces violence through its policies. That's a scientific fact. So the people, you coming like, how are you going to hold the people that are being exploited, the people that are pushed into the streets? People are pushed into selling drugs. People don't just wake up and be like, hey, you know what, I'm going to just sell drugs. It don't work that way. Those are all myths. Don't nobody just wake up. Yo, if you woke up and you say, I'm going to just sell drugs, you grew up in the hood. You ain't have nothing around you. You have no education. You have nothing in your brain that's telling you that, by and large, because there's always exception to the rule. You have somebody that grew up in the suburb, rich as hell, but they want to run around being gangsters. By and large, I mean, but when you grew up in these communities where there are no resources, there's nothing. The schools are the worst, or worse in the state. The schools are failing generation after generation after generation. When you grow up in those spaces and you're hungry and you're starving, you know how Crusoe picked up the sword? People pick up clips. They pick up weed. They pick up different things to be able to sell, to be able to survive. Because how else you going to survive? They pick up prostitution. They pick up stealing. Because you live in a finite economic world. Like, we live in a social economic world. There's no two ways about it. We live in a money world. A world which they have created. The social construct around us is everything is about money. Money, money, money. That's what the society is here to give you. that's the institutions, everything that they've built, everything surrounds you having money. And if you can't get that money, if you don't have access to that money, what you think people going to do? And then clowns like this who jump up here and say, yeah, we got to talk to the men in the community. You have to stop selling drugs in your community. They will never hold the people that's causing the chaos accountable.
Please tell me as much.
Exactly. I've been all around this world, and I realized that the safest places do not have police. There are no police on the corner, so that's a myth. So what happens is the safest communities are communities who don't have poverty.
They have resources.
They have the resources. So what we want to do at Boycott Black Murder is utilize every voice, every community leader, every, violence interrupter, and come together and say, okay, we're going to your community. We want to utilize, we like the Wu-Tang Clan of gun violence, right? And everybody has their own.
See, if somebody that don't know no better, this is sounding so good to them. Because they haven't been politically educated. They haven't been trained to be able to hear this con man for what he is. He says absolutely nothing. There was nothing there that will help anybody change their material condition. Your resources, bringing your resources there, just makes me a slave with you. Because the people that you're bringing those resources from, I have to serve, or I have to serve you. The power still is in you.
Own voice, everybody has their own say, but it's not working in silos. Us coming together, we want to come to your community and we want to show up, and you want to bring your favorite artist to your community, and we want him to sit with us, and you want him to tell you what we don't tell you. So we want to collaborate with artists and with influencers and all of those.
At the end, they're just trying to control how you think. That's what, stop, boycott black murder. Remember that. Remember boycott, because that's what Fanon is going to be talking about. Remember this. This is what they're offering.
Come together and create this movement that's going to take a lot of these guns and take the violence out.
So if you even look like that, bro.
So take the guns, take a lot of these guns and take a lot of this violence, because that's what's creating the violence is the guns. You see how stupid that they believe you are? It's the guns that's causing the violence. Because somebody just got up one day and just went and got a gun out of nowhere and just started the violence. And it's not systemic. It's not been here generation after generation, centuries after century. The same people manipulating and controlling the masses of the people, exploiting them. Knowing they only make a certain amount of money, but making their rents too high for them to be able to pay it. Making life too hard for them to be able to survive. Because they could alleviate all the stuff they're doing. But they're not. Because they're too selfish to. And then you get this buffoon. Like, for real. And I'm going to say, because, like, yo, the platform that they on, look, the Breakfast Club ain't bringing Africa up there. But the Breakfast Club is part of the system. The Breakfast Club don't want people to hear what I have to say. What I have to say is counter to everything the Breakfast Club stands for. This is the goofiness that they stand for. This is what they push. Maintaining of the status quo. Ignorance that leads to nothing. They will never bring anybody on the Breakfast Club that's talking about the last shall be first and the first shall be last. That's not what they're about. They're going to pull they're on there from a corporation. They don't own none of this stuff. That corporation will pull them right out that seat and put another Uncle Tom there.
It's like PMB. You know, that was one of our own. That brother was one who literally would come to the community.
That's right.
Would be on the streets, out there at the schools. You know, and that's something.
Go ahead, you got your hands up. Go ahead. But by the way, he's talking about PMB. PMB, I think, is the rapper that died, I think, out in Philadelphia, was one of their own. Somebody killed them in the streets. Because they was following all this goofy stuff right there. If he's one of your own, this is a dumb message for him to be following. A dumb message. Yo, you know where I feel the most comfortable at? Amongst the people. Wherever I go in this world, I feel the most comfortable around the people. Yo, the police didn't kill PNB. Somebody else killed them. Because this is the goofy messages that they was running around pushing. Who is going to kill me if I go into their community and I'm saying, like, yo, we should own the property here. You, your family, your daughter, we should organize to own it. You know what? I'm about to have an after-school program for your child. Yo, you don't have no food in the refrigerator. Yo, I'm about to bring the groceries. Because we all need to work with each other for us to be able to survive. So if you in the community doing that instead of this goofy stuff that he doing, trying to influence people, trying to buy people off, if you're doing stuff like that, the people don't know you. The people not loyal to you. Talking about PNB was our own. Then you failed them. You failed PNB. Because there ain't none of our own running around here getting people in the streets looking for them, trying to kill them. But anyway, General Secretary, what you wanted to say?
In the chat, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
In the chat, I put an example of one of those resources. This past week in Newark, the council passed a ordinance or resolution to award over $700,000 to their Department of Health and Community Wellness. And what they're going to do with that money is divide it into 3 nonprofits, and in the guise of helping trauma recovery and at-risk youth and all of that. So when they talk about these resources they bring it into the community, it's actually your tax dollars. They're not bringing no money into the community. It's our taxes funding what I call the Friends and Family Plan, which are nonprofits that are basically connected to the administration. And if you're not connected to the administration with your nonprofit, you're not getting nothing.
All power to the people. Oh, and that's everywhere. That's not just in Newark. That's in every community, everywhere, until we see otherwise. We haven't seen any. Everywhere. This is how you get the money. They're not just coming in there and they're giving you money if you're not tied to them.
That's why this particular death is real personal to us because it's like, now you're taking out the good.
It's personal to you. Now what? So what is personal to you? The whole time they're talking, absolutely no solutions on how to do anything. All they're going to do is try to control how you think, how you accept it.
Good rappers, you're taking out the good artists, those that are involved in community, and that's really something that's really hit us hard.
And those people are not involved in community. I don't know any artist that's involved in community. If you know any artist that's involved in community, let me know who that artist is. But I don't know any artist that's involved in community in trying to build a revolution. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. If you know that artist, introduce me to that artist, because I need to know who that person is. But these people, these fake people that come around here giving out book bags to white supremacy school, the failing schools, that come around here propping up the politicians, these people are not leaders in our community.
We heard of the brothers passing, and so we hope that we don't want to see another PNB. We want to make sure.
Shit, I didn't want to see another Nipsey.
Yeah, absolutely, right. That's a fact.
Dog, right.
But it's a disease, Charlemagne, and nobody's exempt or immune to it.
Right.
So
it's a disease. What's the disease? What is the disease that nobody's immune from? What disease? Like, they just be throwing words out there. What is the disease that nobody's immune from? Capitalism? Imperialism? What is it? Because what you going to say? They just killed him because he a rapper? Or black people just hate black people? Or what are you about to say? Black on black crime is a disease. The crabs in the barrel. Yo, go ahead, Jeremy. What's up, Jeremy?
No, these are white supremacist talking points that he's bringing up.
That's all they are. And
yeah.
I'm about to go to Fanon. Fanon is going to say that they're conservatives.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy? He doesn't talk about the fact that black people are being lynched in 2026. You know what I'm saying? He's not talking about that by white people. I'm not talking about that, but they're, these are just white nationalist talking points. It's crazy.
No, and you know what? And if he does come around to talk about it, he's talking about it where it's like, do not challenge the system. And donate this money to us, and we're going to go out there and we're going to march. We're not going to do nothing really constructive in the community or anything. We're just going to go out there and go march. And we're going to go try to get policies passed.
I mean, this brother was sitting down just having some lunch with his family, And so if we don't want to see another, then that's where, again, we all got to come together. So we can prevent it. We can't guarantee, but we can at least feel good that we made every strong effort in the process.
That's what they got to offer. That's what he got. We go back to 4. Remember, he was talking about them. He was talking about them, the politicians, these people, what they got to offer.
Robinson Crusoe was able to obtain a sword. We can just as well suppose that man Friday might appear one fine morning with a loaded revolver in his hand. And
let me say this real quick. I'm sorry I stopped it. But anyway, the whole reason why I stopped that is to ask you the question. Remember the story about Crusoe, about him being able to make the sword, to be able to survive out there, to show his humanity? I just showed that video because I want you to think. The way that my son is thinking, what he's saying, is that you on an island fashioning a sword to be able to survive? Or is that you out there dying because you're talking? You're talking about the solution, what you should be doing. Think about it. Because my son is supposed to be an activist that's out there giving directions, telling people what to do, because he knows. He knows which way to go. He knows how to fight, what he's fighting for. He knows. So you go to him and you ask for how we should do it. We should go to other communities and ask all the other people that know people for us to come together, how we can hold ourselves accountable. That is his solution to what Fanon is talking about here. That's his solution. So he's saying Fanon don't know whatever Fanon about to say. He's saying no. Fanon, you should have went around and got other people that know people in the community, and we should all talk for us to end the Algerian war, the war out here that the French are trying to take over the people's country. We should go get up.
Then on, the whole relationship of violence is reversed. Man Friday gives the orders, and Crusoe is obliged to work. Thus, the revolver triumphs over the sword, and even the most childish believer in axioms will doubtless form the conclusion that violence is not a simple act of will, but needs for its realization certain very concrete preliminary conditions, and in particular, the implements of violence, and the more highly developed of these implements will carry the day against primitive ones. Moreover, the very fact of the ability to produce such weapons signifies that the producer of highly developed weapons in everyday speech, the arms manufacturer, triumphs over the producer of primitive weapons. To put it briefly, the triumph of violence depends upon the production of armaments, and this in its turn depends on the production in general, and thus on economic strength, on the economy of the state, and in the last resort, on the material means which that violence commands. In fact, the leaders of reform have nothing else to say than, with what are you going to fight the settlers? With your knives? Your shotguns? It is true that weapons are important when violence comes into play, since all finally depends on the distribution of these implements. But it so happens that the liberation of colonial countries throws new light on the subject. For example, we have seen that during the Spanish campaign, which was a very genuine colonial war, Napoleon, in spite of an army which reached in the offensives of the spring of 1810, the huge figure of 400,000 men, was forced to retreat. Yet, the French army made the whole of Europe tremble by its weapons of war, by the bravery of its soldiers, and by the military genius of its leaders. Face to face with the enormous potentials of the Napoleonic troops, the Spaniards, inspired by an unshakable national ardor, rediscovered the famous methods of guerrilla warfare, which 25 years before, the American militia had tried out on the English forces. But the natives' guerrilla warfare would be of no value as opposed to other means of violence if it did not form a new element in the worldwide process of competition between trusts and monopolies. In the early days of colonization, a single column could occupy immense stretches of the country.
I don't want to go past that, because if we listen now, I want you to understand what he was talking about. Because when you start to challenge the system, when you say we have to fight back, the natural reaction of the reformists is we don't have guns. You can't go back. What you gonna fight them with? What are you going to fight the state with? Why don't you go down? Why don't you take your guns and go down to the state capitol or go down to go do? Fernand is trying to explain, like, fighting back, your strategy to fight back, just like Crusoe. Like, you have to find a way to strategize to be able to fight back. You don't just sit there and accept your reality. And then you don't get so scared, worried about their tanks, worrying about what bombs they got, what they have. So what do we do? Because, I don't want to just be talking here to be talking here. Everything that we do in the community is fighting back. Creating that space to be able to educate these children that will be able to carry on this legacy. That's fighting back. Because if that's not done, if the foundation is not laid to produce those minds, you will never have a revolution. And I disagree with anybody in the history of time that has ever said that the people just wake up one day. And I think Fernand alludes to that, because if the suffering gets that bad, the people are just going. No, it takes organizing. I disagree with him. People have to be organized. We are not robots. People will not just wake up because things are bad. I use this analogy all the time. I heard it somewhere. Some people think like if aliens came to the planet, that the people will all come together and try to fight back against these aliens. Because you know what? We from Earth. We're people. We have to fight back against this foreign enemy that's coming in to make us all slaves, destroy us, or take the planet from us. And then somebody said, like, that's not what's going to happen. The sellouts here will make a deal with the aliens so they can be alive, and they will kill the rest of us. I believe that's what most likely to happen. Unless the people are organized from birth to understand the aliens are coming. So we have to strategize and put things in place. So when they get here, we have to send a reconnaissance. We have to send somebody over there to their planet to go find out what kills them, what hurts them. We have to come up with a strategy on how we're going to survive. They're not just going to come here and then everybody just stand up and uprise together. It will never, revolution will never come like that. Revolution comes from the work, the day-to-day task, the sacrifices, the small ones, the meetings, the job that you don't take. It's a lot of things that come with it. It is not speeches. People think like somebody can give an eloquent speech. The way they talk, if you don't use too many niggas and bitches in your language, you're going to influence people for them to do what? That's not how revolution works. Your language, what you say, is not what motivates people. The people that complain about the language are people that are never.
Chairman, you may be going too far because I think he talks about that.
Yeah, but let me finish my thought. The people that complain about the language and shit, they never, ever, ever, and he's going to say that, they're never, ever, ever going to fight. And that's why I don't care about them. When I do pig patrol, when we outside, I'm outside. And we risking ourselves in front of the pigs. And we're calling them pigs and savages, sellouts, niggas. I don't care what you think at home if that's what you're getting out of it. You're not upset that they're stealing people money, that they're brutalizing people. That's not what upsets you. What upsets you is the language that I use, so you don't want to help out or participate. That means you're never going to participate. So I just block you. If you don't know, I delete your comment off whatever I'm doing. And most of the time it's people with fake pages. Because the real people that live in these communities, it's people with fake pages, it's police officers, people that married to police officers, people that are part of the government, that are part of the system. These are the people that come and spew these negative comments that have nothing to do with nothing. So I just block you. I delete you. I'm not looking. They always be like, don't be in a small room speaking to people like you in a silo. Well, why would I want to speak to people that don't agree with me? Like, we ain't never going to get nothing done. We're going to be arguing the whole time. I don't want to talk to you. If you don't agree with the science, you don't agree with the evidence, you don't agree with reality. I really don't. I don't care what you like. If you like eggs, I don't care. Our bond is bigger than that. We are comrades. We are in the struggle fighting this enemy. I'm not worrying about your sexual proclivity, whatever. I don't care. Don't come to me talking about none of that. All we are focused on is the enemy. I don't even want to hear black people suffer the most. Oh my God, you got to come. You got to recognize black. Man, I don't care. Because the whole time we spending time talking about that, we're not dealing with what we need to deal with. And if you're not at the stage where we need to deal with what we got to deal with, go educate yourself. I don't have time to stop in the middle of what we're doing to try to explain to you. And then you asking me goofy questions, and then I got to answer your goofy questions that you ain't never going to listen to me anyway. Get out my face. Come on, man. Stop playing with me. Like, we got work to do. I mean, like that's why we say you got to start with kids. Because adults know everything. They know everything. Like, you explaining something to them, you're telling them stuff that you read from books. Look, that's Alex and Kendrick. They're probably back from Canada. They're telling me they're ready for camp tomorrow. I'm gonna call them back after the show. But like, let me go on, man, because I just forgot what I was talking about because Alex and them just popped into my head. They went to Canada, the little homies from the camp. I mean, yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see them. They've been gone for like a week and some change. Let me go back to for now. 4:15, right, General Secretary?
Yes.
I don't know. Was it 4:15? 4:15 was the one before that, wasn't it?
You're probably right. By maintaining attention can become focused on imagined or symbolic enemies rather than on the colonial system that is actually oppressing them. These shared beliefs also strengthen the individual's connection to the group. Myths, rituals, and taboos become markers of identity and provide a way for people to express emotions that cannot be openly directed toward the colonizer. The problem, however, is that this can create a kind of psychological displacement. Instead of confronting colonialism, people may become consumed by fears of breaking a taboo, encountering a supernatural force, or violating a cultural prohibition. The natives can become trapped in a maze of false enemies, while the real enemy, the colonial system, remains untouched. Eventually, however,
Basically, this is the yo, my God, this is the recap, man. I'm bugging you. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm on the recap, man. Man, I'm sorry. Now, I got the right place where we was at. Now, my mind is all over the place. I apologize to everybody. I got the right spot. It's right here. It's, let me play.
The Wretched of the Earth by Franz Fanon, the revolver in his hand, and from then on, the whole relationship of violence is reversed. Man Friday gives the orders, and Crusoe is obliged to work. Thus, the revolver...
Yeah, that's where I was at, where he's talking about Crusoe. And we was talking about my son and them, because my son and them, like, if you listen to what they're saying, they're on what you call it, you would never build a sword, you would never be ready to do anything. You just be listening to them talking about nothing.
That violence commands. In fact, the leaders of reform have nothing else to say than, with what are you going to fight the settlers? With your knives? Your shotguns? It is true that weapons are important when violence comes into play, since all finally depends on the distribution of these implements. But it so happens that the liberation of colonial countries throws new light on the subject. For example, we have seen that during the Spanish campaign, which was a very genuine colonial war, Napoleon, in spite of an army which reached in the offensive of the spring of 1810, the huge figure of 400,000 men was forced to retreat. Yet, the French army made the whole of Europe tremble by its weapons of war, by the bravery of its soldiers, and by the military genius of its leaders. Face to face with the enormous potentials of the Napoleonic troops, the Spaniards, inspired by an unshakable national ardor, rediscovered the famous method of guerrilla warfare, which 25 years before, the American militia had tried out on the English forces. But the natives' guerrilla warfare would be of no value as opposed to other means of violence if it did not form a new element in a worldwide process of competition between trust and monopoly. In the early days of colonization, a single column could occupy immense stretches of the country, the Congo, Nigeria, the Ivory Coast, and so on. Today, however, the colonized country's national struggle crops up in a completely new international situation. Capitalism, in its early days, saw in the colonies a source of raw materials which, once turned into manufactured goods, could be distributed on the European market. After a phase of accumulation of capital, capitalism has today come to modify its conception of the profit-earning capacity of a commercial enterprise. The colonies have become a market. The colonial population is a customer who is ready to buy goods. Consequently, if the garrison has to be perpetually reinforced, if buying and selling slackens off, that is to say, if manufactured and finished goods can no longer be exploited, there is clear proof that the solution of military force must be set aside. A blind domination founded on slavery is not economically speaking worthwhile for the bourgeoisie of the mother country. The monopolistic group within this bourgeoisie does not support a government whose policy is solely that of the sword. What the factory owners and finance magnates of the mother country expect from their government is not that it should decimate the colonial peoples, but that it should safeguard, with the help of economic conventions, their own legitimate interests. Thus, there exists a sort of detached complicity between capitalism and the violent forces which blaze up in colonial territory. What is more, the native is not alone against the oppressor, For indeed, there's also the political and diplomatic support of
Chairman,
if he,
I'm here.
can you explain that bit where he's talking about how the people from the colonizers from the motherland, I guess they don't want to see the violence that's going on against the native people, but they also want their interests protected by whatever economic means. But at the same time, it's like it can't happen. Like their interests can't be protected without the violence. Is that what is being communicated?
I wanted to stop it, but I was like, man, I done stopped it too many times already. No, because it's like he's telling the story if you listen to it. Because first, right before that, he was talking about the violence that must be needed that to deal with these people, and that these politicians, these fake activists, are not going to ever get to that point. They're so busy trying to protect the system itself. And then the question that you just asked me was what?
He mentioned the interest of the people on the motherland.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, the interest of the people, whatever. But that violence, he was saying, like Crusoe, like you have to find a way to be able to to use violence to be able to attack the settlers, whatever. And then the part that he was talking about, the people in the mother countries, the financiers, or the corporations that's basically funding the exploitation and the stealing of the resources of people in other countries. They don't want to see that the exploitation, the suffering of those people, because it exposes them for the frauds that they are in the mother countries, for the hypocrites that they are. I would disagree with Fanon there. Like, I don't think they really care. They just don't want people to see it, because the more people see it, the people know who they are, and they know that it's a pyramid scheme, that everything is a lie, that is going to soon come to them. Like right now, where we are, we're not at this phase right now. Currently speaking, we're not in a decolonization process. We're still in a colonization process. People haven't accepted the reality that they're dealing with yet. People haven't really started to rebel yet about going to work, working 2-3 jobs to be able to survive as a human being. People accept this right now. Like if you talk to people about like I got to get 2 jobs, people looking at you like I got 3, I got 4. If you tell people you're poor, they're telling you to go get 3-4 jobs to survive. That is where we are at. We haven't gotten to the stage where you're thinking like, why do I need to go work for somebody to live? Like, what the hell kind of construct is this? I'm born into this planet, but I need to go work for people that I don't even know and give them money for me to survive and barely survive. I can't even afford rent. I'm in the streets. I'm working and I'm homeless. And I accept it. We're not at the decolonization stage yet. I mean, we're not there. We're not there where we understand, like, what he was talking about Crusoe, about picking up the sword, about formulating strategies to survive. And he's giving you example about Napoleon, how Napoleon took over Europe, like went to war with them, how these people discovered guerrilla tactics and all of this because they couldn't fight them straight on, so they had to discover ways to be able to use the territory, the land, to be able to fight back. All of that stuff he's talking about, you're seeing it right now. Iran is over there using $25,000 drones to blow up $1 million planes, $1 million structures that they paid all this money for. They're using $25,000 drones. They're like, we're not going to get the F whatever plane you got. We don't have the ships that you got, but we got these drones, and if those drones go past the gun line, we're going to blow them up. See, so they came up with a strategy. They had somebody that was in Iran, the person that came up with all these ideas for these missiles, because in the 90s, when they went to war with Iraq, they were funded by America, and they were going to war with Iraq in the 90s, like 90, 89, 90, and I think they had a war in 82. When they were fighting with them, they had somebody there that was like, we got to come up with rockets. So they sat down, they strategized. They're going to build all these rockets. They're going to build them underground. Like before they did it, it seemed crazy. It seemed delusional in the 80s, coming up like, yo, America's coming one day. We need to have these rockets. We need to have these drones and all this stuff ready. They strategized. They didn't say we're going to go to these communities. We're going to get all the people that talk to the people that are influential in the community, and we're going to sit down and we're going to hold the community accountable. Like, do you see how annoying listening to Mike Son is when I understand strategy and understand how people fight back after reading Fanon, and then you got to listen to bubble lip Mike Son say that goofy stuff he was saying? But I would have disagreed with Fanon. These people, these corporations, they know what they're doing. They've been doing it forever. They don't have no sympathy. They don't care. They just like the teachers. They just like the people out here. They're like the police. You see them everywhere. Everywhere. They're like low police, low state official, these politicians, because these people know they're not doing nothing for the people, and they're all walking around here lying. They're all frauds. They're all actors. Nothing that they're doing is fixing anybody's life. And somebody no different, show me. Show me how anything this politicians is doing is fixing anybody's life. These people know they're doing nothing, but they walk around here like they're saying. Like they're saying. All these people have always known the crime they committed. They just don't want it to be broadcast out. They don't want videos. Because when video come out, your General Secretary, I am mad. Let's try this again. 856. Because when the videos come out, this is what happened. Aaron Calcrader's call. Look, this is what happened.
News tonight, a father says he fears he'd be in prison if his young son didn't record his encounter with police.
By the way, y'all got where I said I was at, right? 856. Now listen to this.
Stewart was charged with assault on a peace officer, a felony that could have put him away for years, but a jury acquitted him after the video was played in court.
You see this? See that? Look, they're inside their house. They're abusing him. Then they're going to write on their police report that he assaulted them. And if this camera that somebody was taking, this video that somebody was taking inside wasn't there, he was going to jail. His 12-year-old son videoed that. So what if he was in there telling the kids, respect the police? Respect the police. The police are role models. Whatever the police do, you're supposed to listen to them. And he's telling himself that the police are the heroes. And they come in there, they're grabbing him up. His son is there telling daddy, just comply, daddy, and then record. His black ass would have been in jail. That's the world we living in.
They found that the evidence starkly contradicted what the officer...
You see that? Even the lawyer. I told you, all these people, the lawyer's a scumbag. The lawyer's not going to come out and say that these people brought violence. He's supposed to have a gun to shoot them people down. He will never say that. He will lose his job. Listen to how he talk about what happened. They came in somebody's home and they brutalized him and they lied. They lied. And that video wasn't there. He wasn't getting off, period.
Officer says,
I had my 12-year-old son record, and we was able to get the truth out there.
The video, of course, doesn't capture the whole interaction. We wanted to know what in the world happened in the moment Huntsville police first arrived at his home. An answer we could have simply gotten with body camera video, but the police department will not give it up.
Yeah, that? The police, they won't give up their video when they first got there. So why are you even listening to them? They will not give up their video. They work for the people. The cops are supposed to be there to serve and protect. We're supposed to be in charge of them. The news people, not Africa, not the Black Panther Party, the news people telling you, they say, no, we're not giving it up. We're not going to show you what happened when we got there.
Only ABC 13's Luke Jones spoke with the man who was acquitted. He's live with what we were able to find out that wasn't on camera. Luke, what's going on?
Yeah, well, Stewart's attorney says this all got started when one of his neighbors called police because they thought they heard a young girl scream. Stewart confirms his 3 kids were home at the time and says there was no domestic disturbance of any nature. And then what we see on the...
See what they say? They always say somebody called and say they heard something. There's no concrete. There are no names. There's no body. You got to listen. You got to listen to what they be saying because they're all part of it. Look at him right here. He part of the whole scheme and lie. They're not coming out to say exactly what happened. They're not. They're all like tiptoeing around, going around into man.
The video, you see the police in his home attempting to handcuff him. You can see what some might term resisting, but you don't see him shoving the officer into the wall as the indictment accuses him of. We did ask police for body camera footage.
Yo, they showed up because somebody said they were screaming. What they trying to arrest them for? What they trying to arrest them for? Why you ain't asking that investigative journalist? All these people are not journalists. They're scribes. They give themselves the word journalist to make us think we should listen to them. But these people are scribes. They just scribble down and say what their bosses want them to say.
Get more context. As of both yesterday and again today, they declined, citing the 2 pending misdemeanor cases against him. So all we have to rely on at the moment is that cell phone video.
After a 17-month legal battle, last week a Walker County jury partially cleared Jafari Stewart's name. Not guilty of assault on a peace officer, not guilty of harassment of a public servant.
It was starting because it was like my
Look at him. He been crying. Just listen to him. Because he make me sick too. Jafari Stewart, you big dummy.
character, me as a person, me as a man, was being questioned. Was something I know I would never do to any human being.
It was a late night in March 2025. Stewart says he and his 3 kids had just returned to their apartment when 2 Huntsville police officers knocked on their door. This indictment says they were there to investigate a welfare concern regarding children.
We just got in the house. Like, what do you mean, a domestic dispute?
Stewart claims the officers pushed past him when he wouldn't let them in. Police declined to release body camera video, but when Stewart's 12-year-old son starts recording, you can see one officer attempting to place handcuffs on Stewart. Things escalate when an officer puts his hand on Stewart's neck, and Stewart jerks his shoulder.
It's technically an assault.
Mark Stevens is a retired Houston police detective. While he says the shoulder jerk could count as assault, that's not what the indictment accuses Stewart of. Police claim he spat on one officer.
Yo, did you hear that? The shoulder, I thought he was saying the police putting his hand around that man's neck was assault. No, that's not who the person that they brought up there. Remember, these are the journalists that chose the people to allow to speak. He said him jerking his shoulder, that's an assault. So they're not even addressing him putting his hand on his neck. You came there to check if the case was good. You ended up having this man in handcuffs, and you got your hands around his neck. See, like when the masses of the people say, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. This is how I experience the police. The police are not good guys in my community. They're not here to do nothing. The police are terrorists, just like those 2 officers. So I don't want to cut no deals with the officer. I don't want none of them in my community. I don't want them reading to my child. I don't want them coming to their programs, trying to ingratiate themselves with the community. I don't want them walking in the community. The police are the problem. Where are you hearing this message at? What space, anywhere, are you hearing what I just said? Because that's what Fanon is trying to tell us. And in no space, nowhere are you going to get that.
And push him into a wall.
But there's a reason why I call this dude an idiot. Because, like, when I say those corporations, those business people, all those people, when Fanon is saying these people don't know, like, the crimes, and they don't want those crimes committed in their names for their profits that they're gaining, this dude is just like them. That I'm not trying to organize him. There's nothing I can say to him. Even now as we speak, like, he's an adult. He's already made up his mind. There's no eloquent speech. There's no words, anything I can use to change that person from who he is. Even after they brutalize him, listen to him.
Oh, neither of which we see on the 3-minute video clip we were given.
I like to call people liars, but
I don't like to call people liars. He's smiling, he's laughing. He was crying before, but now he's smiling and laughing when it comes to talking about the system. You see the psychosis? When he's thinking about dealing with the system, he starts smiling and laughing because he still wants to be accepted by the system.
Fabrication, yes.
Fabrication. They didn't just lie. They didn't lie that he didn't push them into a wall. They fabricated. You see what I'm talking about? He's a dangerous Negro.
Cover up, yes.
Responding to Stewart's shoulder movement, one of the officers begins pulling him. losing his balance in the process.
They're backing toward a wall, and the officer slips. And I think in the heat of the moment, the officer felt like he was probably up against the wall. Having been there many times myself, I get that.
That's not how jurors saw it.
Yeah, these are the people that are cops. These are the people that are in charge of the police department. He's saying that the dude probably felt like he was by the wall. That's why he said he was by the wall, that he pushed him against the wall. This is the conversation they're having. Now why is he even in the house? You see where, like, the debate, if I'm talking to these people, we can't even talk. Because my whole conversation is, why are they even in the house? Why are they even touching him?